Hello everyone, welcome. This is round 5 of ChessDojo Open Classical Tournament. This game I played as white against Decker 79. He is more than 200 points lower rated than me. And I decided to play Queen's Gambit Declined Exchange variation against him, in which I expected that we get this Carlsbad structure. Okay, this is this pawn structure that I had in round 4 where I played against Project Telekine. If you play this opening, I suggest you to take a look at that video because it was quite a game that I badly struggled as black, and I luckily managed to draw that one. And that game had actually a bit different plan for white. Here, in this position that we got in this game, main idea for white is minority attack, and that's one of the main ideas in Carlsbad structure that pretty much everyone should know. White wants to play b pawn and create weak c6 pawn and attack that weakness, while black will try to do something on king side. He has more space here, he can plant the knight here, and he usually wants to exchange these bishops, especially this one, which is weak. The reason why I decided to play this as white is because it is actually quite difficult to develop and get rid of these pieces as black, and even if you do, then you still have to pretty much defend all game and struggle to draw if white plays properly. Despite appearances, this opening is quite rich and it's very move order dependent. So already in this position I went with knight to f6, which is slight inaccuracy, and black is already equal. The thing about, for example, playing knight f6 here is that it takes away from some white plans. In a round before that I played against Project Telekine, for example, he went this way and this is the best move. For example, after these moves, now white can play this idea. Also, white can play this idea and its variation of Pillsbury attack. Other than that, knight f6 does nothing against bishop to f5, although here it's a bit too early and you should know that. Whenever black puts the bishop out, white can play queen to b6 and double attack these pawns. And in this case, most black players at this level doesn't know how to respond, and the best one here is to just develop the knight. Now the game continues and white is just slightly better, but maybe the biggest downside here for black is that by developing this knight here, he doesn't have any more c6, and he'll have some trouble defending these pawns in the future. Of course, black doesn't have to play the bishop immediately here, so he can play c6, and now white is basically forced to play queen to c2 to cover the square to stop the bishop coming here. If white ignores this and plays something like bishop to g5 immediately, black can develop his bishop and he's now equal. We'll probably trade the bishops, knights, and whatever pieces, and the last pieces there it's easier for black to play. Okay, so that's one thing, and I won't go much more into the opening. So here he pushed me away and I played queen c2 to stop his bishop coming to f5. But as black, my opponent actually played the opening better than me. You can see this also in round 4. I think I played knight to g4, which is not as good move as this one, knight to e4. Black wants to trade his bishops, which I did. And now in this position, I want to develop a castle, and of course, black defends his knight, so I cannot capture it. I had it attacked 3 times. When I castle, he develops bishop to f5, solved most of his problems, although it's not that simple for him to trade bishops yet. For example, if I play something like a6 preparing b5, he cannot simply move the knight and trade, because here I win. He could, for example, try to play something like after a6, something like g6 with the idea to trade this way, which is, I guess, okay, but then he has a bit this weakness, and white is a bit faster with attack, but it's playable position. Okay, but then, so what's white's plan and white ideas here? I have already realized that I messed up opening a bit because I allowed him to develop this way, but then I have my plan of pressuring these pawns, so I went with it. And I played rook to b1, which is unfortunately not the most precise. It's better to play a6 followed by b5, and the reason is that after rook to b1, I allow my opponent to trade pieces, and I missed that. Because after he takes here, now I cannot capture the bishop, which I would like to, because he can take my rook. He spotted that, so we exchanged this way. And now black traded pieces, and he's about equal. Actually, Stockfish likes black only slightly here. I captured with b pawn, but it's quite similar to capture this way, and it's maybe slightly better, but I went for the open line, and now I already have this pressure. What's interesting to know here, and what's specific for this opening in general, is that white has constant slight pressure on black, and it's really annoying to play with black, as you will see here. In this position, black already has some problems. For example, he wants to develop this knight. He could have maybe played here, which is, I think, valid move. Natural move, knight to d7, is actually blunder because he would lose a pawn. And for that reason, black decided to play queen to c7, with the idea, of course, to develop his knight here, so his pawn is defended. But this is already a mistake, because now I jumped to opportunity to play a4, and now I'm gonna pressure his pawns here. Why is this mistake? Because he basically allows a4. He could have played b5 here, and I actually saw this move, and I wasn't very happy. I realized that in this instance it was better to take with the queen, and b5 is here actually weak move. It's not nearly as dangerous as in the game, because now this c6 pawn is very weak. But I didn't see that when I captured here. And now he actually could have played b5. It's much stronger because my c pawn is blocking, and his c backward c pawn is not nearly as weak. Fortunately, my opponent missed that idea. And now I'm going to pressure these pawns, and for example, b5 now is just losing. Of course, he cannot do that. So he had to find something. He first wants to develop his knight, and I mark with arrows here. Basically, he has two ideas. He can come here or here, and I certainly don't want to allow him to block my pawn. For that reason, I play c4 immediately, which is the best move. And he can capture that one, I don't mind it, and he also can come here. To this square, I was expecting him to jump via b6, but of course I can always dislodge him, but the game would continue, and then my pawns would be hanging here. Hanging pawns are both good and bad at the same time, and it's tricky to play them. He decided to go with knight to f6, which I was surprised with, but I guess I thought it was okay because he could come here, although he doesn't have a tempo. By playing knight to b6, he would have a tempo move here, and this is a bit better than what happened in game. He went knight to f6, but he had actually a different idea, and we'll see that in game. Here I decided to push my pawn further. This is a bit weak pawn, and with proper play he could create troubles and try to win him. So I was happy to push it away, and if he took the pawn, I would have an active rook and the other one, and I would pressure him and his two pawns, and basically black would defend whole game. He didn't want this. So he decided to defend the pawn, and now basically you can see what was the idea of my opening and my game all the way, and that is that in these structures white has all the space and all the pressure, and black is passively defending. And that's what's really annoying for black. And this is quite hard to play. It's defensive play, and especially at this level, players are not very good at defending. So here I play rook to c1. Now I want to stop him from playing this move. I win this way pawn. But here, of course, he again could take the pawn, and the game is equal. But he didn't want to allow this. I then again have active rook. Although he could have traded, but black will always be defending a bit. He probably should have done this. The game would be equal or definitely better than what happened in the game. He decided here to support his queen. Now he defends this twice. Of course, I can now create more pressure. Now again, I have 3 attackers here. 1, 2, 3. And I also have now annoying pressure at f7, so he has to care about that. In this position, after several minutes, he decided to go to e4 with his knight, and his idea apparently was, as he said to me after the game, is to go to d6, which he considered as an excellent outpost for his knight. Now, I'm not exactly sure why he thought that in this position this is excellent. Of course, it looks okay because we got to that position and he now has access to these 2 squares, but this is actually much better outpost when the pawn is here, and now these would be outposts. But he went here without the pawn, and I don't think there is much purpose to this. It would be probably better just to play this way, even if I push him. I think it's better than what he did. Maybe he also liked this threat here. He has fork. For that reason, I decided to play rook to b2, which is not the most precise move. I also had in mind to double the rooks, maybe, to attack this pawn. But the best move here is just to use the tempo and scare away the knight. But okay. I think there is another important point here is that when you know the plans and when you try to follow them and apply constant pressure on the opponent, like I did here, it's even possible, and it's not a big thing to make some inaccuracies like I did here. But still, all the pressure is on black. It's really hard for him to decide what to move. The thing is that in this position, it's very hard to do anything for black. For example, if he tries to push the b6 pawn, I will win the c6 pawn. If he tries to win this pawn, I have f7 pawn, and now this is check, and this is suddenly starting to look very bad. And then I think at this position that Stockfish wants to play a6, and now do you really want to play the move such as this? I mean, this is now even tougher to defend, maybe, and I'll double here, and it's awful to play as black. So the best he found is in this position is to attack my queen, and it actually forced me to make a mistake, and this is maybe the last lesson in the game, and that one is that when you are applying pressure, you don't want to exchange pieces, you want to keep pieces on, and now I wouldn't consciously exchange pieces here, but I made a mistake, and queen to b6 actually leads to this, and now he gets rid of lots of pressure here, and he's fine. And here in this position it's just better to retreat and keep all the tension and all the attacks, and now black would need to yet one more time solve all the problems and decide what to move, and he's basically scared to move anything. So I went with queen to c5, which has its troubles, as I said, and here he blundered, and I was actually expecting him to blunder for a bit. I was wondering when he went to d6, I was expecting him, I knew that he would really like to come to this square to block the b line, so he can relieve the pressure and play b6. But I must admit that I was skeptical. I really didn't expect with long time controls that he would make such a blunder. And he played actually knight to b5 to my surprise. And it took me just a few seconds. And I here captured the knight because now he cannot recapture as I win the piece, basically. And this is game over. And he was surprised by this. He obviously missed the tactic, and he resigned the game. So that's about it. Relatively simple game, still quite a lot of mistakes. And the lesson about this one is that just applying constant pressure, having more space is often quite enough to win, even when you play accurate like we did here. And maybe a lesson for Carlsbad structure and this Queen's Gambit exchange variation is that to know that move order is really important, and against better players I would certainly be punished here. And Black actually played the opening better than me, but I kept going with my plan and it actually worked. So that's about it for the time being, I think, from ChessDojo. I was playing a few over-the-board tournaments and I learned quite a lot. There are a few games that I would like to show you, so I think I'll be trying to explain those and make few nice videos if possible. Thank you for watching and hope to see you next one. Goodbye.